This is Fred Beck from Fred Talks Fighting. I'm joined by Mams Taylor in Nashville today. Today's been a very, very busy day. We've had Darren Till versus Tommy Fury announced. We've got Qatar card coming up. It's all good at Misfits.
Fantastic day, Fredericks. Very exciting. I can't wait for this fight. I can't wait. I think both Tommy Fury and Darren Till are Misfits. And I can't wait to have them two and John Fury and KSI in the same room on Tuesday.
Do you think this press conference might turn to a tag team match with John and Tommy versus Darren and KSI?
Anything is possible at Misfits. And you just don't know what's going to happen. Like, this is the thing. I was speaking to someone on Twitter today, on X, sorry.
Yeah.
And they were saying to me, why don't you set this up so that we're not going to... You never set it up, because when you try and pre-plan something, it doesn't ever go to plan, and people think about it too much, unless they're professional actors, you know? So just putting those four guys in the same room, something's bound to happen. Something's bound to go down, and it's definitely one you don't want to miss.
The security will be stressing more than usual. Shout out Andy, he runs security at Misfits.
Shout out to Andy and the team.
Yeah, they'll have their work cut out for them that day. Anyway, was it difficult getting this fight over the line? I know that the KSI and Tommy Fury negotiations went on for a while, but we got a new character coming to Misfits, introducing Darren Till. Was it hard to go over the line, or was it a little bit easier than making the KSI fight?
No, it was pretty straightforward. I think it's just, Tommy's coming off of a hand injury and a surgery. Darren Till's coming off of having had a recent fight in Dubai. And I think, he was shaking his ring rust off there and still won quite easily until the fella started trying to take him down.
I was there in Dubai. Darren was really the most viral moment of the whole thing.
I think so. But listen, I think these two are very evenly matched. It's a great fight. Two fantastic personalities. We're honored to be hosting them on Misfits.
No, certainly, it's good. I mean, there's a lot of hype. There's a lot of positivity as well. Out of all the fight announcements, that's the least negativity stuff I've seen in all the comments and everything.
Yeah, you're always going to get one or two at least, But I think it's a fight people will be interested to see, and the mainstream coverage as well. On the BBC and everywhere else in the UK, it's going to be a big fight and a big card.
Who's hosting the press conference again?
Well, KSI is going to be there hosting, and obviously Kala's going to be there, and it's going to be a perfect storm.
The first press conference of Misfits I'll be missing. I know. Sad times indeed.
We're gonna live stream it.
So yeah, me and Mams will do a live watch along for the press conference, which will surely be quite entertaining.
Wait, we're doing it on our channel, on my channel.
Yeah, Mams Taylor Music. You can look at the comments.
I still have 1,000 subscribers, I think. Do I?
Yeah, you do. A few
Really?
Snoop Dogg videos on a few thousand views as well.
Or do I have dog videos?
The Snoop Dogg videos.
Oh, the Snoop Dogg videos. Yeah.
Anyway, the Qatar card.
Yeah.
We still got quite a few more fights to be announced. A few fights I've seen behind the scenes, which are very exciting, to say the least. The reason why it's taking so long is just we're waiting on the Qataris to clear it, and then it's all full steam ahead.
Yeah, it's not up to us. They do an internal check, and then once it's past that, it's some more complicated checks. But everyone we've submitted, we're very confident will be accepted, and the process just takes a lot longer, and it's taken even longer because fights that people don't even know about, I've had to change up because of injuries or this and that and the other. So it's not been a dull time at Misfits with the matchmaking.
No, certainly it's very difficult, as I hear. And then when will the undercard for the January fight be announced? Misfits, is that Misfits 20 or is that Misfits 21, the January card?
That's 20.
Wow.
Yeah, 20 events, not bad, huh? And then we're looking to do a couple more events pretty quickly after, but not too quickly. Lots of ideas right now. I'm really, really kind of brainstorming in my own head and just trying to put different matches together, see what makes the most sense. Obviously, for me, the fans come first. Fighters have fighters also, we want to take care of them. There's a lot of fighters who are due to fight, so I'm just trying to balance it all together and make it work, and make sure that we keep this momentum going.
Because having a pay-per-view, there's only been one pay-per-view or technically two this year, but
Two, yeah.
that obviously was in August and then in November. But then starting 2025 with a pay-per-view, it's starting full steam ahead. It's not a slow start at all.
We're not messing around this year. There's a lot of fun plans.
And I know this year we've had about 8 events. We'll expect about 10 or 8 to 10 events. That's the target you guys are aiming towards right now. Obviously, things get moved around rather a lot.
No, yeah, I'm pretty confident we've got a lot of good events coming. So I'm still working on finalizing the launch for the MMA and pro boxing as well. So it's going to be non-stop action.
Will the MMA and pro boxing shows just have, on the MMA show, it'll just have all MMA, and on the pro boxing show, have all pro boxing? And then Misfits show up all influencers?
That's the goal.
Okay.
So right now we're sprinkling some pros, as you've seen, into the Misfits shows. And it's not like that won't ever happen as a one-off here and there once it's established. But I think, like, if we do a super card and we do like a couple of MMA fights, couple of pro fights, couple of Misfits fights all together, I think that'd be pretty awesome. But yeah, I want them to have their own separate entity under the House of Combat, Misfits House of Combat.
So Misfits House of Combat, is that out there? Is that breaking news? You're going to have a Misfits House of Combat underneath. You've got MMA, pro boxing, and then crossover boxing.
I mean, I've said it 6 or 7 times, so unless people don't listen to me as much as they used to. I think I've said it to you in another 2 of your interviews, but yeah.
Will you have about 8 to 10 Misfits shows next year? And then will you have an extra, and then I guess moving to 2026, when you've got all these things fully introduced, will there be 8 House of Combat shows, 8 Misfits shows, 8 pro boxing shows? That sounds like rather a lot. That's like more than 2 a month.
Let's see. I don't want to saturate anything, but they are 3 separate entities. Mm-hmm. So not everyone is going to be a fan of Misfits boxing that's a fan of the MMA or the pros. There are going to be a lot of people who are fans of all 3, but they just get more content. The thing about putting lots of content out, I think it's fine if you're not saturating what you're doing. So if you've got 3 separate entities, that content is unrelated to one another, but still have the common entity of the Misfits House of Combat. But because they're separate and they have 3 separate storylines, it's like watching, they're
watching Lord of the Rings, Game of Thrones,
and Harry Potter.
Yeah, all in one. It makes like no sense.
Well, it really does make sense, because you don't want to necessarily watch Harry Potter, all of the Harry Potters in one sitting.
Right.
So you get to have a break from that, I mean, these are not good analogies, just so you know.
No, but it's 3 separate entities. I understand where you're coming from at this point.
So
and what you're trying to say is you don't want to. It's like on this channel, right? How it's a more of an influencer boxing sort of fan channel. And if I interview a pro boxer, they won't do that good numbers. But if you interview a pro boxer on another big boxing interview channel with a hardcore boxing fan base, it will do a lot better on their channel. It's a sort of, you don't want to mess with the algorithm. You don't want to be introducing different things, different fan bases.
Yeah.
Exactly that.
No. I don't know what you said.
Do you want to pick him up?
Yeah. Come on.
Pick him up. This is Frank Canelli. New character added to the channel. New character alert. New character unlocked. The dog's got a little bit too fat.
I'm really adamant for him not to get fat, because he's a senior, so he needs to lose about 2.
What do they say? Dogs look like their owners.
He's more handsome than I am all day, aren't you, Frankinelli?
We'll move on to the Mike Tyson Jake Paul topic. Obviously, I just came back from Dallas. It was a good show. The Jake Paul fight was obviously, I think a lot of people expected a little bit more than that, but your thoughts on the overall card? We'll start with Jake and Mike.
To start with Jake and Mike, I think it was terrible to watch. It was a tough watch. Mike Tyson lost to a mediocre boxer 20 years ago, and he lost to a mediocre boxer last night, close to the age of 60, with massive, massive health issues, which he almost died from months ago. KSI News were the first to report that it wasn't just an ulcer and it was blood clots, and that channel got made fun of. Like, oh, you're a credible news source, but he was right. And Mike said that in his statement yesterday, that he nearly died when they cancelled the fight last time. So there were a lot more underlying medical issues. And at that point, if not even in the first place, surely you've got to draw the line. I was vehemently against it. I don't think it was a classy thing. And this isn't anything to do with Jake Paul, like in terms of, oh, you know, we're gonna shit on Jake Paul, this and that. I'll get to the positives of that event in a second. But it's about my love for Mike, and a guy who, you know, we all looked up to, people my age anyway, and saw as a boxer, that is, you know. I know he had his trials and tribulations, and he's overcome them, and he's become a peaceful, philosophical guy who's expressing himself quite peacefully these days. And the things he achieved, the terror he instilled in people when he'd come to the ring, that legacy. And I know he's just said on that interview he doesn't believe in legacy.
That's a great interview with Jazzy.
It was really funny, especially the poor kid, you know. She was not expecting that. But you know, for Mike, I think, look, God bless him. He went in there, respect to him. It shouldn't have happened. It wasn't a morally correct fight, in my opinion. You know, you've got to draw the line somewhere. But in terms of the production visually, best I've ever seen.
Well, it's Netflix. They put on shows, and they knew how to put on the boxing show.
It looked phenomenal, you know. So kudos to Netflix. Unbelievable. Obviously, the streaming was difficult. There was issues all night on my stream. We had to change devices 6 times, go to different rooms. And I will say the undercard was really, really entertaining and fun. I mean, Amanda Serrano and Katie Taylor, fantastic fight. Definitely a contender for Fight of the Year. And Winderson, you know, I'm looking forward to having him back on Misfits when it's time. But obviously, he bit off a little bit more than he could chew, but I think he did very well, and he's shown improvement. Yeah, it was a good card. It was a good card until the main event.
Where do you think they go from here, Jake Paul's team? I mean, 60 million people watching live on Netflix is insane. That's the biggest concurrent viewers ever on a boxing fight, but it's very difficult to top.
Can I just say, why did they have Rosie Perez commentating on that?
And I haven't heard the commentary, but I haven't heard good things about it either.
They've got Wade. Put Wade on there.
Even Mams Taylor is saying, put Wade on commentary. This is a legendary moment right now.
Put Wade on there. At least the guy, you know, knows what he's talking about.
So Wade knows what he's talking about?
Partly. Somewhat. More than Rosie Perez, okay, if that's worth anything.
Well, shout out to Wade, because 9.4 million views on his live stream is insane.
Have fun on Netflix, Wade. No, look, it was annoying me because I love boxing, you know, and I'm like, what?
Wait, who is Rosie Perez?
She's an actress from this movie that is wicked. If your generation might not have seen it, it's called White Men Can't Jump. Right. It's a basketball movie with Wesley
Did they not
Snipes.
do a remake of that recently of Jack Harlow?
Sure it was shit. I didn't watch it. But Wesley Snipes and Woody Harrelson, and it was excellent. And Rosie Perez was in there. Rosie Perez, you're amazing at doing movies. Just do movies. Commentary for boxing was not it. And to be honest, throughout, the commentary was, I thought it was quite one-sided in the Serrano-Taylor fight as well. A little bit, yeah. And when you get that, it's very, very, they've got such an important job.
Well, they tell the story. They direct the narrative.
And you trust them. So you think these are experts who are guiding my opinion as a casual fan. People are more and more intelligent nowadays when they're watching boxing, and they're more educated. So they can see when they're being led down the garden path, you know?
But you've got the opponent lined up, though, and you're ready to go.
Yes.
Because that was breaking news to people that don't know. That's why I'm saying it.
Big fights only, Fredericks. Dax is going to fight KSI. Finally, the people get what they want. And Dax has done really well to make his name huge. And I think he's in great shape. It's going to be a fantastic fight.
No, certainly. It'd be like Swarms Part 2.
Swarms is... We might see Swarms very soon, Fred, right?
What about Churdless? Where's Churdless at nowadays? He's spoken to him?
Honestly, if I want to be cheered up, yeah. Once I look on Twitter and I'm getting a hate and it's like all the negative energy, I'll go to Sherdley's page and it'll lift me up again.
He's got dedication. I remember Jeff Widdick, Churdless' mate, telling me that this was before like the night before he fought Jay Swingler back in Sheffield 2022.
I can't believe Sherdley's fought Jay Swingler.
And then he was like, all these fighters, they're really dedicated. They haven't missed a day. Well, Churdless hasn't missed a day of uploading. So he even normally when YouTube boxer fights, they'll normally put all the uploads on pause, the content on pause, and just focus on the training. Where Churdless just focused on his uploads, but training second.
Yeah, I know.
Weeks before his actual fight.
Yeah, if someone out there can figure out the balance between the two, there's a couple of fighters that can, but it just blows my mind, honestly, how you have a platform and you're not making the most of it. How you're not like making content all the time and promoting and learning how to be creative and connecting with fans to become a bigger fighter and to get a bigger paycheck and to have a bigger name and be able to make more impact in whatever direction you want. You want to save the world, you go towards that. You want to make lots of money, you go towards that. Whatever your objective is, but you've got this platform and you just do the bare minimum. And I say it to fighters all the time, but I can't make people do something that they're not doing. That's my one thing that's a big source of, well, there's a few, but that's...
This is what Keemstar's been saying for years.
He's absolutely right. That's why he's Keemstar. Love him or hate him, he knows the internet, he understands the game. And yeah, he's absolutely right. If you want to really become a big name, you have to connect with people on the internet. It's just what it is. How else are you going to do it? And just fighting is not going to be enough. In our space especially, but even in all of combat sports,
Well, most big boxers or UFC fighters, all their YouTube channels now. I know Tom Aspinall from the UFC last night, he's got his YouTube, it's doing really well. Devin Haney's got his YouTube, Ryan Garcia's got his YouTube, Andy Joshua has. All the big combat sports stars have their own YouTube videos now, or they have a cameraman following them around on fight night, on fight week, filming training camp. It's just a common sense thing to do to promote it more.
It is. Make content, get your personality out there, think about storylines that you want to initiate, whatever it is, you've got to be interesting. And if you're not interesting, that's only half the battle you've won. Like, how many musicians are there out there who will never, ever make it because they've got all the talent in the world, but no one knows them and they don't know how to promote themselves on social media? There's a lot. And that's the sad truth of the age we're living in. It's the reality. Whether it's sad or not is up to you. It's the reality of what is required to succeed. It's you're lowering your percentage. I'm not saying it's impossible, but you're lowering your percentage to be a mega star on any platform, whether it's music or boxing or anything, if you're not introducing and letting the audience get to know you and be interesting enough for them to carry on wanting to get to know you.
You have your own personal brand nowadays. Try and pick Frank up again. You have your own personal brand, and then you capture the fan base. Zlatan Ibrahimovic. Any news on Zlatan?
No, I haven't spoken to him for a while, but again, we spoke. I spoke to his team numerous times. I had a FaceTime with him, and he knew all of KSI's fights. He knew of Misfits, and it was really cool that he's be like potentially interested in fighting. He's got a kickboxing background as well.
Yes, everyone's seen the picture of him with the gloves on in the ring. For that, so anything else coming up before the end of the year? Oh, Misfits Awards, they're happening. That's in the January card.
Going to be sick, yeah. So Misfits 20 Fight Week, we're going to have the award ceremony. And the nominations will be decided by the small council right after the Qatar card.
Right.
So as soon as the Qatar card's over, we'll know if there's any new candidates from that card. So it wouldn't be fair to come up with it beforehand.
Yeah,
and then small council and the audience will vote.
Okay. So the audience vote counts as one vote.
As one vote.
Okay.
Small council is 5.
Right.
So at least people get a say. I think it's a good compromise, because if you gave the audience the entire vote, it would be a popularity contest, to some degree. As much as there are really honest and objective fans out there as well, unfortunately, they're more of the exception than the rule.
Yeah. No, it's smart. It's a good way to do it. You have the right balance, the even side of it all. But yeah, that's a wrap for today. Press conference. We can't leak what day it is, but it's happening very, very soon. And yeah, thanks very much. That's perfect.